I'm 32, 1991,
Hey.
baby. I'm identify as she, her. I'm a big lesbian.
With guns.
It's really unfortunate how often those come out.
Lovely you.
This is our newest episode of Eligible In. I am Coco Fernandez, your host, and I'm here with Alex. Welcome, Alex, from
Thank
Philly.
you. Hey, I'm Alex. Thanks, Coco.
Who is the person that nominated you?
Oh, my friend Kanar, who I know from when I lived in Boston, and we met kind of in like the Boston music and startup scene. When did I move to Boston? 2014. Yeah, we met like in 2015, maybe.
Okay.
Crazy. Wow. Sometimes I forget.
Right. Time. What is time?
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
illusion.
But we've stayed super tight since then, and yeah, she's a great friend.
Nice. Is she still lives in Boston?
Yeah, she's in Cambridge, but yeah, she's in Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Same.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kanar, for introducing us to an amazing human.
Yeah, we have a quick, or I can tell you quickly, like when we first met, my boss had set up a meeting between the three of us, but my boss was, I think Kanar and I both got there early. My boss wasn't late because she's never late. And I walked up to the table to meet Kanar, and we looked at each other and we're both like, oh, we're both gay. Okay, cool. And we just had this like moment. We just like a very,
sometimes you when you know, you know.
it was just a very funny, like, all right. And we both talk about that still because it makes us giggle. But anyway.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's how all friendships should start.
They should, just like a wink and like a finger gun, and then
like we know we're locked in.
Mm-hmm. Simpatico, So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you live in Philly. How has that? We've talked about this in the pre.
Right. But for the fans
watching, for the fans, for our loyal subscribers. Tell us why you moved to Philly, what you like about it, pros and cons of the dating scene.
Yeah. I moved to Philly for my family. My mom grew up, I don't know if people listening know Philly, but she grew up outside of Philly. And my grandparents were getting a bit older, and I was like, hey, I kind of want to be down there while, we could spend time together. Sorry. And I was in Boston for like 8 years, so I was ready to jump that ship. I love it. I go back as much as I can.
We're gonna have people from Boston just rioting.
I love Boston. I love Somerville, which is where I lived, like a lot. And I think about going back often, but I really wanted to give a new city a chance while I'm young. And yeah, Philly is super dope. It's I feel like it's like similar to Boston, like historically, like it's a really cool old city, and there's a lot if you walk around just to like discover. And if you're a big history nerd, which I'm actually not as much as I used to think I was, but if you are and you walk around, there's just like so much. Like the other day I went to Independence Hall with my brother because he's a huge history guy, and anyway, it's super cool. But aside from all of that, colonialism, etc. We don't have to dive into that. It is like way, like not to, I mean, obviously like I'm comparing it to where I lived for 8 years, but so compared to Boston, it's just like way more diverse. There's a lot more, like I work, not my 9 to 5, but I work in music. And there's a lot more going on here, like a lot of more independent venues, and not as many venues have, well, as far as I'm aware, not as many venues have closed. Like in Boston, a lot closed after COVID. So there's like a lot of music, a lot of great food, just like a really like beautiful diversity of the people that live here. And I love it. And I've been here for like a year and a half, over a year and a half.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I guess we should get some basic info on you.
Oh, sure.
Because you said while you were young. So if you don't mind sharing, if you want.
Yeah, my age,
occupation,
etc.
Yeah, etc.
What was it from ASL?
Yeah.
From that just aged me.
We got the L part. So
true, Philadelphia. Oh my god, my dog. I'll show you in a second. She's being very cute. I'm in Philly. I am 32, 1991.
Hey.
I'm identify as she, her. I'm a big lesbian.
With the ones.
It's really unfortunate how often those come out. Work is a funny thing. So my like day job, well, day/night is I'm a barista / bartender / trying to build up the music programming at this local brewery called Wissahickon Brewing Company. And then I also manage a musician. So that's like the other piece. There's a lot of music going on. My background is in marketing, but I said, I'm over it.
You know what? You can still apply those.
I mean, it's part of everything.
You know what I mean?
It's part of everything.
Like,
yeah.
Like I studied musical theater in college, and it's like people would always be like, "What are you going to do with a musical theater degree?" And I'm like,
"Shut up!
I can do
whatever I want.
I can do literally anything. I have more people skills and
yeah, exactly.
People skills, public speaking skills.
Yep. And those are huge because even in business school, I had one like half semester class about public speaking. And I was like, this is like the biggest part of this. Why are you not teaching me more? Because I'm so afraid.
Yeah. Right. Well, now I go in and like, because I do like improv as well.
Right.
And I'll like go in and like teach like business people improv. I'm like,
that's huge. Yeah.
Tell me again how my occupation is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's extremely useful, but yeah.
Yeah.
Marketing, sure.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've gotten that out. Let's go back.
Okay. We're back.
Yeah, so how have you found the Philly dating scene to be? Even in comparison to like Boston, did you find it easier in Boston? Do you find it harder?
Yeah.
It's just all kind of the same dumpster fire. What's the tea?
So I had a realization, which my straight friends were like mad at me. Not mad at me, but they were like, fuck you. Can I curse? Sorry.
I think so.
Okay. They were like, fuck you. Why would you say that? So sick. Where I worked in Boston was a like young, queer, fun, attractive environment. So whether this is good or bad, everyone that I worked with just like dated each other.
Sure.
So it wasn't like hard. Like I wasn't on the apps. Like I wasn't like, oh, I have to go meet people. It's like, oh, my community is a community of people like where, I ended up dating one of my coworkers for a long time. And like, that was awesome. And it wasn't like I had to go trudge through the apps and go on a million dates, but it was like, we had a really beautiful friendship first and that turned into dating, which I really love. My environment is not like that. It's because like, that's like, I put myself in that environment. Like I work at a really, really great place, but it's like very straight. It's like me and one other coworker who's queer. I think I'm half Cuban and I'm the only person of color. One of two as well. Same with LGBTQIA plus,
etc.
etc. So yeah, anyway, so it's not diverse in pretty much any, in those two, big realms. So it's just like, oh, okay. So I'm not in an environment where I'm going to meet queer people. now I actually have to like get on the apps. And so I've been doing that, and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
this is hard. And this is when I was talking to my friend who's been trying to date men for, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, period.
And just like, struggling to meet someone, you know, like she's an absolutely amazing person, and the guy she's meeting, and I've like helped her vet some of them, are just like, oh my God, like where did you come from? So when I said that, she was like, hey, like this is my whole life, like trying to date people. And I was like, well,
It's like a full-time job, honestly.
yeah. And we talked about this, I think, last time, and I still haven't like taken a dive into the literature. But there was some like article or podcast or something on the internet that was probably TikTok, that was like, Philly is the most single city in America. But then my question is like, if it's so single, why isn't everyone just finding people to date?
We did talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really, that's why I'm like, I don't really know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
But that's where I live. So
that's wild. Yeah. I wonder, it is so, it's much easier. I mean, I feel like proximity is a really big part of dating a lot of times, because it's just like you said, it's just easier to do that. And then when do you feel like, not to get into all of the et ceteras, but do you feel like, because I know you in our like pre-interview chat, you were talking about how there's like maybe one like lesbian bar in Philly, or like queer bar.
It's like that I know. I need to do more. I need to be better about diving in. There's like, there's a bar that is historically more lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple like there are definitely places that, I'm gonna back up. My favorite kind of bar is a bar that's just like everyone goes there. Queer people, straight, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like I actually don't love going to like the gay club. Like I don't know. I mean, unless I'm trying to like have a night. But just like a bar where everyone is existing and hanging out. And like I had a lot of those in the Boston area, or I want to say Somerville, because Boston also is like lacking a lot of those things. So Somerville and Cambridge is really where I spent my time, and those existed there, and I haven't quite found that here. And I think they do exist, just like not the neighborhood I live and hang out in. And I think, I'm sorry, my dog's doing something weird. ZeeZee. She was like scratching at something on the floor. No. Yeah, they definitely exist here. I just haven't found them. And I think the thing that I've struggled with here is like in Boston, someone's going to have something to say about this, but in Boston, public transportation was like way easier.
Okay.
Here, it's like not, in my opinion. It's also a bit more like dangerous depending on where you are. And like, that's Philly and that's okay. So I'm not really like taking the train to like get out to places.
Sure. Okay.
And like discover new places, and like, and obviously I could like Uber and stuff, but I do really like public transportation. So I'm like, and then I kind of just get stuck. Whereas in Boston, I felt like it was a bit easier to kind of like get around to different neighborhoods. There are places in Philly. I just like a lot of the ones that are like the gay bar are like $20 to $40 covers, and actually they're more straight now than gay, because that's what happens, and like, exactly. Which is fine. It's just like now it's not. It's different,
but it's not queer space.
Yeah,
like it's not a safe space. Like you have to share it with the heteros, and that's
it'll be like you're there, and then like, you know, a bunch of guys are hitting on your friend, like straight men are hitting on your like straight girlfriends who come with you to like go out with you. And you're like, wait, no, why are you here? But I guess like, then why is she here? And I'm like, I don't know, it doesn't matter, everyone can be here, but like, where'd all the queers go? Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's a lack of, not to get too off tangent, but it can be, I mean, this all like relates to dating, right? Like proximity, accessibility around. I was going to ask like, if you feel Philly is, I guess, segregated in a way of like people kind of stay in their own neighborhoods. Nobody really ventures out to different parts.
I think maybe yes. I do think that happens a lot. Like, I think that happens a lot like in New York. Like my I shouldn't say this because like my brother travels all over, but my dad and brother both live in New York, and my dad, of course, he's almost 60, like he's an older guy, but like he lives in the Upper West Side, and that's where he hangs out, and he doesn't even go like below a certain. And I think that's generational, but I have a lot of friends that live there. Like, oh, I live downtown, and they kind of just like stay there. And I do think that happens everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it is happening more here.
What are some of, now that you've been in Philly for a while, what are some of the places you've either been on really good dates, like you'd be like, this is like my go-to date spot, or like places you would want to take somebody on a date?
For sure. I really like, I mean, this is a whole neighborhood, but like South Philly, like I went over to like Passyunk, which is, I think it's just like a street, but like the neighborhood's kind of named after that street. And there's a lot of good food over there. Where did I go the other day? Oh, there's a great dim sum spot called Bing Bang. Shout out. They sponsor this actually. Guys. It's been super good. Really good cocktails. I'd probably go there. I really also do like just like a dive bar. Like this didn't turn into anything. Then I went on a great first date. And we didn't realize it was also trivia night at this place over in East Falls. We were called Team First Date. So everyone was like, oh my God, congratulations. So it was very cute. But yeah, so we played trivia, and it's like really, really no frills, like $5, $4 beers. It's called Billy Murphy's. It's an Irish bar, as the name suggests. I'm trying to think of other spots. Oh, it's a place called Good King Tavern, which I believe is in Old City, which is another neighborhood, kind of like central Philly. It's French. The last time I went there, it was probably like late winter. They were making mulled wines. You walked in and it smelled like spices, and it was just like cozy. And I was like, I'm obsessed.
I love mulled wine.
Yeah, I love mulled wine. So yeah, a place like that. I'd say like I don't want to go somewhere, especially on a first date, like fancy. I want to go somewhere like chill with good food and like not pretentious vibes.
Why is that? Is that like because it makes you more like you feel like you'll be more yourself, or is it just?
I just feel like I think just a more comfortable environment. Like you never know. Like I've been to plenty of, like I love food, so I do go to like nicer spots, but it's like you never know. Like what if it's Michelin star and then they're like being rude because they can, and it's like I don't want to deal with that. Like it's fun, it's a cool experience, but it's not like, I think it's not a good place to get to know somebody, because I feel like, at least for me, I'm like feeling uptight the whole time. Yeah, because I'm like, what if I say something wrong to the server? I don't know. Yeah, but I do love places like that. But yeah, anyway, yeah. Or like I also like actually I haven't been to Topgolf, but something like that, like an activity.
Yeah. I love
an activity. Yeah.
You get to know a lot about the other person too.
Yeah, and I think that brings out a little bit of like the worst side of me, which I think you should see. Like I'm so competitive.
Yes.
So I think you should see that immediately, and then you'd be like, okay, that's okay, or no, it's not, and that's fine.
Yeah, there was I went on a date recently at this bar that's like super chill, and they have a great outdoor patio, but they also have like board games that you can play. Somebody was like, you should at some point play a board game, because again, you can see who's really competitive, or like
Yeah, it's just like, I can tell you a quick anecdote if you'd like.
Yes, please.
So I've always been very sporty, and when I was really little, like maybe 4, I think, my dad was teaching my mom how to swing a golf club, and my mom is not athletic, and that's fine. She's a beautiful person. She just can't play sports, and she could dance. But anyway, she was not good, and my dad laughed at her, and then I stood there as a little 4-year-old, like, ha ha, like making fun of her. And that was the beginning of me being an asshole when it came to...
Oh my God.
So it comes from my dad. But yeah, I was just like, oh, you can't do it, Mom, huh? So unfortunately that kind of stuck.
talk
Love them.
about family. Is that an important thing for you? Is that an important value? And then I guess let's get into like some of your non-negotiables in dating.
A walk-in closet. No, okay, so well, yeah, so my family. Okay. I have one brother. He's younger. Everyone thinks he's older because he's taller and a little bit more mature than I am. We're just like we're very similar, but we're also like super different people. And I think it's like pretty obvious immediately. But yeah, so brother, he lives in Brooklyn, which I may have said. My parents are divorced. They got divorced when I was honestly probably right after the golf incident. They got divorced when I was like 8. I was like 7. No, I was definitely part of it, but I was like 7 or 8. So my dad was living in Brooklyn, and I grew up in Connecticut. So like I'd spent a lot of time in Brooklyn. Eventually, he moved back to Connecticut, so it was like easier to hang. I'm really close with both my parents. I'm really close with my stepmother, my dad's wife. I'm obsessed with her. My mom was also with someone for like 15 years who I consider still to be my stepdad. They're no longer together, but I love him as well. So very lucky with my step parents because I've heard horror stories. Yeah, and my brother and I are just like, siblings are siblings, but because we're kind of like shuttled back and forth, we became like a unit. So him and I are besties. And we talk every day.
Love that. That's so cute.
Yeah, but they're like, if I'm dating someone and they're in the vicinity of where my family is, like you're gonna meet them pretty quickly because I'm just like, they'll know, especially my brother. I'm like, you meet my brother, and if he has anything bad to say, I'm like, all right, it was nice knowing you.
Yeah, they're like it's the litmus test.
They're litmus test, yeah. And I'm not like, oh, you have to wait months. I'm like, no, if my brother's in town, like, and you're comfortable with it, obviously, I want you to meet him just because it's like, he, like I say, he's my best friend. So, but yeah, they're important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the other side of that, I really love, and I think we talked about this, like people come from all different looking families and like may not be close to their parents or siblings or may not have either of those things in their life. But I think someone that's like okay with like how close I am with my family and like wants to be part of that is really important. And then if someone has a big family, like that would be welcoming to me, or whatever their chosen family is, like they're welcoming. I guess like community is big and family's community or chosen family's community. So just like letting each other into ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is important. Do you want a family of your own someday?
I don't know.
Yeah. That's totally fine.
I think for a long time I was like, yes. And now I'm like, I don't know, the world's like falling apart faster than before, maybe.
Yeah. Truly.
So I'm like very open to like maybe adopting or something, or, like not bringing a new baby into this world, but taking care of one who is here and not shown the love that they deserve. So that's definitely something. I got a fur one.
Right.
Got a fur baby. So
fur babies are important.
Start with that. But I do like, it should be more about like me and what my partner want, but like, I love the idea of like my mom being a grandma. I think it's really beautiful. And I think she'd be so good and she'd be so loving. So, after seeing what she is like with my dog, it's like, she's obsessed. So it'd really be beautiful to see her with a baby, but, I am 32, so it's not like I've got all the time in the world, but there is time, to figure that out.
Yeah. So open to exploring options.
Yeah, I'm not like, oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Totes.
What else do you value in partnership? Not just like each of you individually, but also collectively, like what are you looking for?
For sure.
We're getting into it.
Ooh, no. So I think we talked about this, but I have like anxiety. I mean, don't we all? So I have terrible anxiety, and I am very good at overthinking what someone is thinking about, if they aren't communicative. So I would say someone who's communicative and patient also with the anxiety that exists here. But I think in a partnership, like giving each other grace and space. I didn't mean to make that rhyme. But just like space to like, I feel like in the past I've been like, this is a problem right now, so why aren't we talking about it right now? And it's like, well, why don't we acknowledge it right now, and then, and then come back together and be like, okay, this is how, because as an emotional person, I feel like I would have like, my response in the moment would be different than if I took some time to think. And that's something I learned through a few different relationships. So yeah, like being able to like recognize like, okay, we have to work on this thing, but like maybe this is the moment, or maybe this is the moment. But yeah, so communication, I think we talked about this last time because it feels like pretty basic, but like trustworthiness, just like, and honesty, and
we'll be on some fuck shit out here.
yeah. No shade to a certain someone, but damn. Yeah. So, that huge one.
What does that look like for you? Like trustworthiness?
I don't know, just like, there's probably a lot of ways that comes to be, but like, I don't know, like not having to dance around, just like, I don't know, just be honest. If something's, I don't know, I had an ex that cheated, and it would have been cool if it was just like, and I know this happens all the time because people like will cheat when they're in a situation that they don't have the, like, not strength, but like, I want to get out of this, and I don't want to be with you, so I'm going to do this.
Right.
And I think like having the
self-sabotage, I don't know.
Yeah, self-sabotaging yourself, whatever. But having like the wherewithal to be like, I'm not happy, or I want to work on this, and like being honest about that instead of, not talking about it, or like going somewhere else to, I don't know, deal with it. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of goes back to that communication thing where
I guess it's really all that.
You would rather have, I'm the same way, where it's like, even what you have to say upsets me or frustrates me or whatever. I would much rather deal with that emotion than some lie, some like mental
like maybe a little game.
Like I would rather just say it. Just say what you need to say. Which again is,
it's hard.
It is hard. I'm not gonna say like it's hard for me.
I'm not perfect. Too. Yeah. By any means.
But yeah, that's how you build trust with somebody, of just being like honest and genuine. And I feel like it's a valid fear, rejection, or like losing somebody, having to deal with that form of grief.
Yeah.
But like that happens. It happens.
It's life.
It's life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I totally get that.
And then like, and on a less like serious note, just someone who's like down to run around and be goofy and like go try new things and go to concerts. And then I think we talked about this, like we'll just sit on the couch and watch bad reality TV and drink a bourbon. I don't know, just like someone who wants to explore but also recognizes like that calm home time is like very important.
Yeah. What's your or like what are you binge watching right now?
Okay, so I just finished all of Love Island All Stars, which like there were so many episodes and I watched every single one of them. It's so bad, but I honestly like I used to be like a big Bachelor person, Bachelorette, whatever. But something about it now, I'm just like, I don't know. I really don't love it, but Love Island, because I feel like it's so serious. They're like, we're finding the loves of our lives. And Love Island, like, I don't know, like we're all hot and running around this resort and like, we might find someone we love, we might not. And I'm like, that feels real, honestly. Like it's not real because would there be like 30 extremely attractive people on an island, like whatever.
Sure.
But
it's more honest about like how
it feels way more honest.
Real, at least you know what you're getting, right?
Yeah.
Like we're just here on an island and we're gonna like fuck around and like maybe we find a connection, but like
we're gonna play some games. I don't know.
Again, that honesty.
It's all honesty.
You know what I mean?
But no, yeah. But like I like The Bachelor, like I get it, I love it, it's adorable, but it's like okay. But yeah, so Love Island, but I also am a big crime drama gal. Okay. Not like true crime, like documentaries, but like British crime shows. Or like there was a new one that just came out. It's based off a book. It's called Under the Bridge. And it's with like Riley Keough and Lily Gladstone, who was in Killers of the Flower Moon. And it's like queer crime set in the 90s, like very good.
Nice.
Like the other night I was like, I don't want to go to bed. I want to keep watching this, but I had to be up at 5:30. So I was like, I have to go to bed.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like those types of shows for me are so few and far between now because there's just so much content and like not all of it's gonna hit. The last most recent show that did that for me was season 4 of True Detective.
Oh well,
insane.
Yeah,
so good.
And
it was like spooky.
Spooky.
I'm a scaredy cat.
I'm so afraid of everything.
Natural, like when you get into that realm. Yeah. No, I'm not the person who's going to bring the Ouija board out. I'm running.
Yep. I'm in another room.
I will not be murdered first.
No.
But yeah, that season was so
good. Yeah, we were talking about this last night because my friend at work, my friend's like, "Oh, do you like scary movies?" And I was like, "Literally no. Like I'll die. I'm over it." And I was like, for example, Hereditary, I will never watch because I remember being in the kitchen when my friend's brother was watching it in the living room with the door shut and I could hear it and I was already afraid.
Oof.
I was like, I'm not going in there. I'm not watching that. Can't do it.
Yeah.
But supernatural stuff really messes with my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to think about what could be in my... No.
Yeah, I'm just like, if you exist, great. I'm going to stay here. Respectfully.
Yeah.
And you can stay over there.
Yeah.
Like, just don't make your presence known, honestly.
Yeah. If you're just chill, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm not trying to have beef with a ghost.
Nope.
Not at all. If you want to talk about the artist you manage, or just like your relationship with music in general.
Yeah. Okay, so I mentioned I'm Cuban. I'm also Italian. So food, Cuban, Italian, but music, Cuban. So whenever I was always at home. Growing up with my mom, there's always music on. She was always kind of like dancing.
Because she couldn't golf, so she had to dance.
She couldn't golf. The only other option is dance. But no, so it was just like in the car, like she was always playing like, like my dad played like REM and Coldplay, like love them. And then she played like Gloria Estefan and like Celia Cruz and, the list goes on. But so I was just like introduced to it and like shown like a really big love for it. And then my first concert I was like 8. I saw Celine Dion.
Oh my God, iconic.
At Madison Square Garden.
Oh
It was the
my
greatest.
God.
It was the greatest. I still have a very vivid memory of me being in the aisle singing "My Heart Will Go On," and my dad was like, "You good?"
She's not okay.
I was not
Why is
okay,
she
but
feeling things that she's like
an 8-year-old shouldn't. I don't think I understood.
Why did she resonate with the song?
I don't know. He probably was curious, but yeah. So at my first concert, I was like 8. So I was like, I started going to concerts very young, obviously with my parents. And then I would be at like smaller shows, and I'd always be like, oh, like I really like, I don't like pipe dream. Sometimes like, oh, it'd be kind of fun to be on stage, but truly even when I was younger, I was like, oh, I want to get someone there. Like, I don't want to be there. I want to be here singing and get some, whatever. But I was like, I don't know what that means or what that looks like. Long story short, I figured out like management is something that like a track into that, like booking for artists is a track into that. I kind of did it for a little bit, and then I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And then I went to grad school for it, and I was like, I still kind of know what I'm doing.
All that money and still don't know.
All that money. No, grad school was great. I really, really loved it. And I met Chris Walton, who is the artist that I work with now, like through a friend. And he kind of like knew of my path that I had taken, and was like, hey, like, do you want to chat about managing me? And I was like, for sure, dude. And that was like 2021, like early, like it was not, it was like COVID still, like it was pretty early. And he was just like trying to figure out like what he was doing with his career. And I was like, I just got out of grad school and I can't start a music job because no one's hiring because it's COVID. So it might have even been 2020. I can't remember. And yeah, so I just do, you know, whatever he needs me to do unrelated to creating his art. Right. So like, I don't know anything about, I don't know much about making music, but I think I do have a good like ear. So he'll like send me something and be like, can you listen to this? I'm like, yeah. And he could take my advice or not. Like, I don't like, he is the artist. He is like the professional.
Sure.
But when it comes to like, he's like, can you write this Instagram post for me? Or we booked a tour. I booked a tour from Nashville to Vermont, in early 2023. So it was like, I did all of that. That was crazy. It was very fun.
Yeah. Deal. You booked a tour for an artist.
I booked a tour for an artist. Yeah.
That is nothing to
shake my head at, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, booking gigs, booking, you know, kind of full tours or like weekenders. So it's like, hey, can I be in New York and Philly for the weekend? Can we book gigs? And I'm like, yeah, we can do that. You know, finding him artists to work with, which is super fun because then I get to know a bunch of other people and build my community that way, my network. Finding him like photographers and videographers and like trying to land him a spot on, like, you know, get his music on TV, which is really hard, but is like really important for small artists. Yeah, like, I mean, truly anything. Like, he's just like, can you do X, Y, Z? And I'm like, I think, and if I don't know how, I'll find out.
Right. You learn along the way.
Yeah, it's very, very much learning along the way and like trying to like find mentors that are doing it and have been doing it a little bit longer and maybe whose artists are a bit further along in their careers. And yeah, it's like challenging. It's very not like challenging. It is challenging. And sometimes I think I want to stop doing it, but then I'm like, nope, I love this. Fight through that.
What other things what are qualities that you want in a partner?
I mean, you know, like we talked about, open, honest, genuine. I think like I really like someone who's like goofy. I'm like really goofy, and I don't want like, if you're not weird, like what are you doing? You know what I mean? So like, don't make me feel bad for like I'm usually singing. It's like not on purpose. It just like happens.
Yeah.
And or like you'll say like a word, and I'm like, I know the song. You know, like I can.
I do remember talking to you about this.
Yeah. And I just kind of like, you know, And I love someone who can get down with that, you know? Someone, I mean, you know, talk about cooking, but you don't have to be a chef, but someone who appreciates food. I definitely have like, I have like friends who kind of like eat to like survive. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And like, they don't like care.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but I have met like a lot of people like that. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, I'll have a cereal. And I'm like, ugh. Like, I love cereal, but like, I don't know. I like,
right.
Honestly, sometimes my really good friend said, not a red flag, but she was like, something about you that's like funny is like, you will take the simplest thing and make it so difficult. Like, you're like, I want to make cookies. And instead of making like a really simple chocolate chip cookie, you're like, let me find this like 40-step New York Times recipe and spend a lot of, you know, like I do
Wait,
do that.
Are you a Virgo? For those who
I'm not just a Virgo. I'm a triple Virgo.
Oh, that's right. And that took me out.
Yeah. That might be a deal breaker for some people. Yeah, I know.
As soon as you said the 40-step New York Times, I was like, that's a Virgo. That's such Virgo vibes because
I have got a lot of Virgo energy.
I have a lot of Virgo friends and I'm just like, it's so endearingly funny to watch them overthink everything. And I'm like,
so much overthinking.
Or you could do this. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah. But
even at work,
10 minutes, but it's fine. It's fine.
At work, I'll like come up with cocktails and I'm like, let's make this really intricate, simple syrup. And they're like, why don't you just buy like Monin? And I'm like, no.
We can't do it.
It is easier though.
But I do love Virgos.
Yeah.
I don't know if, you're a triple Virgo, so I'm going to make the assumption that you love, one of your love languages is like assembling things together, organizing things. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I love my Virgo.
Give me your IKEA stuff. I'll put it together. Yeah.
Honestly, that is a huge green flag for me.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll put headphones in. I'm just like, boop, 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 you know, do my thing.
Period. We need you. We need you in the world.
Thank you.
Because IKEA furniture.
It's hard.
Man.
It's hard out here. Yeah, I don't know if I was answering the questions, but yeah, someone who's down to be weird, someone who appreciates food, someone who's gonna get down with my family. You know, honest, communicative.
Music. They should probably not hate music, right?
Not hate music. And that's rare. I have met people that are like, I listen only to podcasts. And I'm like, are you okay?
Truly.
There's a dog hearing me. Someone who likes dogs.
Oh, yeah.
She's big. She's 70. She's so cute. She's like 75 pounds.
Okay. Big dog.
Yeah.
Are you, is that a deal breaker for you? Are you just a big dog person? Is it?
I'm very allergic to cats. If I meet someone and they're like the best person in this world, I will take allergy shots.
Okay.
But the issue is, because I've actually just like wanted to, because cats are cute and I'd like to be around them. But ZeeZee does hate cats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's a pit bull.
Yeah.
She's big. So I'd be a little nervous, but maybe there's a way to introduce cats and my dog and she wouldn't want to eat them. I don't know.
About little dogs. Like, what if somebody you were dating had a little dog?
My dad is a little dog. She is adorable. Her name is Lucy. She's a Havanese Pomeranian. So she's like 9 pounds. And she is the alpha with my dog.
Yeah, it is. It's the like, Napoleon complex of the animal world.
She'll just look at her and ZeeZee's like, okay. And just like kind of slink away. Yeah, it's like, it's very,
It always blows my mind that people are so afraid of the big dogs. I'm like,
there she is in the corner.
Oh,
ZeeZee. Hi, Bubba.
Hi, ZeeZee.
She's like, why are you looking at me?
Yeah. So, that's literally what my dog looks like right now. He's like, oh, God, I wish you would just get off this call.
She doesn't like when I'm on the phone. Like, there are 2 things I've learned recently. Like, I'll answer the phone and she's sitting next to me or in the vicinity. She walks away every time. And the door is shut, so she can't. And if I cough, just like there's a little cough tickle in the throat, she's like, oh, she gets up and leaves without fail. And I'm like, what happened to you that coughing
Oh my God.
It's so funny. But I mean, I got her when she was 5. So like she had a lot of life before me.
Sure. Yeah.
So something probably weird happened. But yeah, it's so funny. It's like phone, coughing.
How old is she now?
Like 7.
Okay.
I mean, if she were actually 5, then she is 7. I got her 2 years ago, but like, we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's very cute.
She's adorable. It's kind of, she looks like a little cow. She's got black and white.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Anyway. What else you got for me?
Anything else? Let me see. And I also want to be respectful of your time because it is almost 11:30. Well, 12:30 your time.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, speaking of flags and things, I have written down a pink flag for you. Your attention span, possible ADHD.
Oh, for sure.
Are you down for long distance relationships? Are you looking strictly for the Philly or like maybe?
I feel like Philly, New York.
Okay, Philly, New York.
I would say Philly, New York. I mean, I shouldn't say I'm not down for long distance. I've just never been in one that worked.
Sure.
Probably not long distance where there's a time difference, like LA or something.
Sure. Yeah.
Or the whole state of California. I don't know why I said LA. Anywhere.
We were all thinking it. We were all thinking LA because that's just the default.
It's the default. But again, like, I don't know if so, like, I can't say no to anything really at this point, I guess. But ideally I could hop on a train and go to see you or drive up, to New York or, yeah. So,
yeah. So relative, easy commuting distance.
Yeah.
All right. Philly, New York. Do your thing.
Let's go.
She's here. She's ready.
She's here. She's queer.
She's here. She's queer.
I don't know. I'm ready to.
She'll put good music in your ear. God.
Yeah.
Totally. Let's turn this into a Dr. Seuss.
Let's please not. Please God.
I think unless there's anything else that.
I don't believe so.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
We did it.
I feel great. We crushed it, I think.
Crushed it. Nailed it. Thanks for listening to Eligible In, a production of Eligible In Media. Our theme song is by Monster Rally. If you see someone you like on our show, or if you would like to nominate yourself or someone you love to be interviewed by us, please visit us at eligiblein.com for more information, including a link to subscribe to our newsletter, where you can stay up to date on our newest episodes, as well as exclusive features of our eligible people.
Lovely you.